Hey, welcome to the Renaissance English History Podcast's Tudor Minute, your weekly dose of all things related to medieval and Renaissance England. And this week, I'm going to talk to you about legal land use, land laws, especially for marriage. Okay, so the reason I'm going to talk about this here is because I just this morning interviewed Melita of Tudor Times on their Person of the Month, Bess of Hardwick. And if you don't know, Bess of Hardwick is this amazing woman. Well, you can listen to our interview, but I had also done an episode on her like last October. And I didn't want to just rehash the same stuff we talked about 15 months ago. So instead, we looked at kind of Bess was this woman who made 4 marriages. Each one got subsequently better, and she was very smart at managing her land, at managing her money. She was very shrewd, and she fought for the rights that she needed to have. And she became the second wealthiest woman in England, second to the Queen Elizabeth. And she did that in part through her management of her land when she got married. And so Melita was going on talking about the land laws, and I'm going to edit out a lot of it just because I feel like if you were just listening to it in the car, you might fall asleep, and I wouldn't want that to happen. No, it's actually really interesting. It just gets really convoluted. So they're putting up articles on their website, and I thought I would do a quick Tudor minute about the basics of land ownership and how women could get land, and also how it was distributed from the crown and everything like that. So here we go, and I'm going to try and keep this brief. And okay. And really seriously, you should look at Bess of Hardwick. She's amazing. Okay, here we go. So the first thing is that all land in medieval Tudor England was owned by the crown. So you had your lands at the pleasure of the king. So in theory, when you died, your land didn't automatically go with you to your heirs. It was as long as you were still serving the king's pleasure, you were able to keep your land. So that was kind of the first thing about land ownership in Tudor England. And so when a woman got married, and in a marriage relationship, which of course many marriages that involved land ownership at this time would have been economic arrangements rather than love matches. And so there were kind of 3 phases of economic land ownership. There was, or of the marriage. I just did this funny dance thing. I distracted myself. Okay, so the first thing is when a woman got married, she had a dowry. And that would vary from person to person. Bess of Hardwick's was the equivalent, in her first marriage, was the equivalent of about 40 or 50 pounds. And as by way of comparison, a very wealthy duke at that time would have an annual income of 4,000 pounds. So Bess's dowry was about 40, 50 pounds, something like that. And so that was land or money that went into the husband's family that you were marrying into. And then once you were married, the land that you had together was called a jointure. And so you would be given, if you were a woman, you would be given a specific amount that was your jointure. And it could be land, like Henry VIII's queens had specific lands in different places throughout England, and that was kind of like for them to have their own income. And that was called the jointure. And then once the husband died, what was left, you were entitled as a widow, you were entitled to 1/3 of the family estate. So, that was called the dower, different from the dowry, the dower. And oftentimes people try to find excuses to not pay that dower because you can kind of see where land would, the family's estates would become split up. For example, if you were a younger son and you had a stepmother that you needed to pay a third, that your family needed to pay a third of the income to, and then part of it went to the oldest son who was the heir. By the time it got down to the younger sons, there wasn't a whole lot left. So they would often try to avoid paying the dower. And that's what happened in Bess of Hardwicke's first marriage, and she had to go to court for it. So those are the kind of three phases of land ownership in Tudor and medieval England. And so check out the podcast on Bess of Hardwicke and also the one that I just did with Melito, and it comes out in a couple of days. And we're going to talk all about women, how women could actually have a career and how they could manage their money and manage their land like Bess did. She was amazing. I have such a history crush on her. I would really love to meet her. She was very cool. Okay, that's your Tudor Minute, your Tudor 6 minutes. And to learn more about the Renaissance English History Podcast, you can go to http://www.englandcast, englandcast.com. You can also go to facebook.com/englandcast. All right, thanks so much for watching, and I will speak with you again very soon. Bye.